Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning. Good morning.
Tom. We're trying to get straight set up here. We on Facebook and everything else today. Instagram, YouTube, and I don't know if you see me on Instagram yet, but I am live on there.
I
And
see you. I see you. I see
you
you.
see me? And let me see. You know what? I think I can invite you. Oh, there you go. There you go. Let's see. Oh, it's okay. It says okay. You join. Now, this is the first for me. We growing, y'all. We growing.
Yes.
And we got
It
Dr.
looks like you've accepted.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Oh, we got the feedback. Let me see. How do we do this, guys? I didn't think about the feedback. How do we do that? Let me see.
Do I
Can you
need to
see
leave
me?
the studio?
Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Because I think what I did, I turned out off the sound on my laptop. So do you hear any feedback on
I
your end?
don't. I actually don't hear any feedback.
Okay, okay, good. So I think we're good then. I think we're good because I I have the audio on where I can see you on Instagram looking beautiful. I can see
As
you
are
on
you.
thank you so much, Hud. And I'm just so excited for us to be here today. I tell you, this has been hey Dr. Kim. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Um, I'll let you get started because see, Tony is the one that invited me. So even though um, we're on we're on my platform, we're streaming it to my audience too. But Tony is the one that invited me, so I'm gonna let her take over. That's what you do when you're in partnership with someone.
Okay.
And when you're supporting somebody, you
That's
just
right.
it don't matter. You just let them go.
Just jump right on in.
That's right.
Yes, yes. So, hello, everyone out there in the platforms that we have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I am Toni C. Hughes of LYED Life Coaching. LYED stands for Living Your Extreme Destiny. And I am the founder of LYED Life Coaching. We're actually on day 21 of a challenge that Tiffany and I are both having, and just transforming our life as well as you guys, hopefully, and adding as much value as possible. So today's topic is on our end is women empowerment, the mother-daughter relationship, along with co-parenting. And Tiffany is my guest as I actually invited her, and I'm also on her platforms, her guests as well. So I don't know if you wanted to introduce yourself to the guys that are viewing from my platform, just so
Definitely,
they can know who
definitely,
you are.
definitely. I sure will. Well, my name is Tiffany Newton. I'm a master certified health and life coach. I help co-parents establish and maintain healthy relationships with one another. And I've been in the co-parenting space really hard since this challenge. But I've been in the mental wellness or health space for the past couple of years. But I've kind of intertwined the co-parenting piece into it, and so I want my idea or my vision is to raise healthy, emotionally healthy children. I believe we can still do that even when we're co-parents without all of the long-term communication issues. And we do that by using my child first method. So I'm definitely excited to share more about that today with Tony and as she just kind of mesh our visions together.
Yes, well, thank you for that that awesome introduction, Tiffany. We are so excited to have you here in our
Thank
LYED community. Um, and we are just, um, we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. So, if you ladies that are part of the LYED community have seen some of the previous lives, we've started to talk about the threefold program. And for our new viewers, the threefold program is a program that I created here in our LYED community for mothers and daughters to reconnect. So let's jump right in and continue on from yesterday's live and overcoming the challenges of dysfunctional mother-daughter relationships. And then Tiffany's going to chime in on the end and add value to what she can as far as the co-parenting aspect. So for building and maintaining a healthy mother-daughter relationship, it can be rewarding, but it also can be challenging. And here are some tips to overcome those challenges as we foster a stronger bond. Communication is number one. To have open and honest, respectful communication is fundamental. Both mother and daughter should be willing to listen to each other's perspective without judgment and express their feelings and thoughts openly. All right, so empathy and understanding. Try to put yourself in each other's shoes to gain a deeper understanding of each other's experiences, emotions, and motivations. This can lead to greater empathy and compassion. Setting boundaries. Respect each other's boundaries and personal space, allowing each other to have individual interests, goals, and preferences without imposing those expectations. Focusing on the positive, acknowledging and appreciating each other's strengths, emphasizing the positive aspects of the relationships rather than dwelling on past conflicts, resolving conflicts constructively. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship, whether it's mother daughter or mother son. When disagreements arise, we have to approach those with a problem solving mindset rather than resorting to blame or avoidance. Focus on finding solutions that work for both parties. Quality time together. Make an effort to spend quality time together, engaging in activities that you both enjoy, sharing experiences, and strengthening the bond to create a lasting memory. Cultivating common interests, finding common hobbies or interests that can provide opportunities for bonding and shared experiences, exploring new activities together, and supporting each other's passions. So, those are some basic tips in helping to overcome the challenges of a mother daughter relationship or just relationships in general. And so, I'm going to go ahead
that's good.
and conclude those tips with just knowing that each mother daughter relationship is unique. There's no one size fit all approach to overcoming challenges. We have to be patient with each other and committed to working on the relationship together. With time and effort, we can foster a stronger, more fulfilling bond. So that's the gist of what today's continuation is for overcoming those challenges. We're providing those tips on how to do so. And Tiffany, I don't know if you want to chime in and um, and add some value as well. So
Yeah,
I do
that
have
was really good. It's, I'm sorry. Are you able to hear me? I,
yes, I can hear
I'm
you.
having
I can hear
some.
you perfectly.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Because I keep seeing my little thing spin. You know how technology is good when it's good, but it's bad when it's bad.
It's pretty
It works when
tricky.
you don't want it. It works when you don't matter. You don't matter. But anyway. But it was that was really
Exactly,
good.
especially with the growth of technology too.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But I mean, the tips you gave, that those were so good, and I hope you all are taking notes because I mean, though, just to be intentional, I think about mother-daughter relationships. I think sometimes we take it for granted as mothers, thinking that our daughters know, what to do, or especially if they're just like us. But I think just being intentional about those things that are needed, in our child's development, no matter what stage of life they're in. I think those are really good, really good.
Yes,
And you know what? I
definitely,
did have a
definitely.
question to ask you. I did have questions to
Okay.
ask you, if you don't mind, because I would love to know your opinion about this. I've actually noticed there's a lot of mothers, they're kind of acting like friends, versus, hey, more mother-daughter relationship. So what's your view on that? And should mothers be friends with their daughters?
Yeah, that is an awesome question. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is a lot of the challenge and the battle between mothers and daughters, especially in today's time with it trending to be friends with your daughter as a mother. So I'll give a pro and a con for that take as far as being a friend. Um, the pro is it creates a strong bond and communication and trust because that's what a friendship is centered and based on, and so it
Right.
can be a good thing just depending on the nature of that relationship. But we have to consider the con also, and that is boundaries can get overstepped because we have to have those boundaries in place when we're dealing with mother daughter dynamic. There's always going to be a battle, and when you have a friendship type of relationship as a mother and daughter, you want to make sure that if that's the approach that you're taking, to have those solid, clear boundaries in place. Now, for what we do here in LYED in our coaching, we take a more authoritative approach in the threefold program. And with that approach, we don't really advocate for friends as mother and daughter relationship just
Okay.
because of the dynamic. It's just it's too much involved, and overstepping those boundaries can cause issues.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. And it's so funny that you say the authoritative approach because we just talked about parenting styles yesterday. And that was one of the things that, because, with it being four common ones, and authoritative being the one that we really want to hone in on for the balance that we need in our relationship. So that was really good. One more
Yes.
question I had was, kind of have time, how times have changed so much, and how in today's world, what you believe mother and daughter relationships need in order to thrive, to be healthy. So pretty much what I'm saying is, times have changed so much to where what used to be, a standard, how it's changing. So what is it that you believe is needed today to help mother-daughter relationships, thrive and be healthy?
Yes, yes, definitely. So you definitely want to have that component of love. And
Hmm.
we know we always say love is action, and it is.
Yeah.
So, and with that being said, you definitely have to have trust established initially between the mother and the daughter. And when you have that component of love established, then you're going to start developing that trust. Of course, there's some other areas that have to be kind of wiggled in to get the trust, bond growing. And then lastly, you want to have communication. Without communication, what do we have? And like I said before, that's for any relationship, but specifically for the mother and daughter relationship to thrive, you want to make sure that there's love there, there's trust, there's commitment. And with our threefold program, we hit on all of these areas. I mean, and just like it sounds, the threefold program has the three aspects. And then we've already talked about the first aspect, which is keeping God first. And that's when you start getting into more detailed areas of the mother daughter relationship. That's going to be your foundation.
That's good. Yeah, I I really like that, um, the love aspect, because I mean we do love differently, but I think when we concentrate on loving our daughter, um, the way she needs to be loved,
Yes,
you know, I think that definitely makes all the difference in the world. That was so
yeah,
good. Now one
definitely.
last question. One last question. What do you do when you feel you can't get through to your daughter? Because everything's not always peaches and cream. Especially when they're going through teenage years. Because them hormones and the emotions are just, it's just crazy. Because I have a daughter, so I definitely know. You know, and she just acts like they get into that stage where they know it all and they just don't want to
Right,
listen. So,
right.
how do you, get through to your daughter during those times?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that has been a challenge. My daughter's 16.
Mm.
I always
Oh,
say
so
she's,
you right in the middle of it. Ooh, but you
yeah,
almost out. You almost out.
almost got 2 more years. But yeah, I always say, and it's like you go through that now. I say she's 16 going on 30, and that's for her
Okay.
mindset, her mentality. And she does, every now and then she comes to me and thinks she knows it all, and sometimes it is a challenge getting through. Well, a lot of times it has been a challenge, let's be transparent here. So,
Yeah.
and what I do and what we advocate doing in our threefold program here at LYED is to first pray. Pray and ask God for guidance. And the reason we do that is because we have to take self out of the way and
Mm,
let God's spirit guide us. And when we pray, we're communicating with God. We're asking Him for wisdom and guidance on how to handle the situation. And then of course we have to get practical. We have to listen and then take those steps. And one of those steps that we can take when there is issues arising with a daughter to that regard is knowing that there is an issue, there is a disconnect, and what can we
mm,
do to get to the root cause of that issue. Once we get to the root cause of the issue that's causing the disconnect, because she's not doing that for just to be doing that or acting that way, just
right.
out of whatever. There's a reason behind it. We have
Right.
to attack the issue and not each other, and
That's
that's
good.
where the resolve comes in.
Mm. That's good because us as mothers. Well, they say anyway that women are emotional.
That's so true. We are.
So you talk about your girl daughter coming at you sideways. You catch me on the wrong day. It's on.
Yeah, definitely. And
Woo.
we get it all the time.
Yes.
So, and that's where healthy, I think the healthy dynamic of the mother daughter relationship comes in when you have set those ground rules, because you have to set those, you have to have those boundaries, you know, out with the being a friend, as far as I'm concerned, and that approach, it works for some because, people have different backgrounds and different cultural backgrounds, different views, but we have to take the authoritative approach if we want to make sure that we're progressing with the mother daughter dynamic, if that works for you. And we have to do what works for us. So, with that being said, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
So, I want to hear more about, with the co-parenting aspect. As a mother of two, because I have a son and a daughter, and I know we're focusing on the mother-daughter relationship and just overcoming those challenges based on what we've gone through already. What is your take? What are some benefits of a positive, and positive, healthy co-parenting?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question because I think with co-parenting together, and now you still have to parent. You still have to be together without being together, you know, and really, I know, right?
That's a tough one.
Yes, exactly. And you know what I I'll say the same thing that you said earlier in regards to communication, because that is the cornerstone of the program that I have, the Child First Method, in regards to co-parenting. Without effective communication, I mean, we really can't. There cannot be an emotionally healthy child,
Mm,
because we really have to be able to communicate in order to raise this child. So the benefits are security. The child feels a lot more secure just in life, period, because they're growing, they're developing. And you know how it is with kids. I mean, anything can set them off where they feel like, and of course now, nowadays kids are not in the best mental space, and
mhm.
they're doing things to each other to themselves, to harm themselves. So it's so important for us to really take them seriously in regards to their emotions, in regards to their development, and work together to make them feel secure and stable in these different environments, with us, when they're going from house to house. And then just the emotional stability, you know, not only them being secure within themselves, it provides that emotional security that they need. And I'll also say one more thing. It really helps them to kind of have some good coping skills. When they're able to see their parents interact with each other, um, civilly, knowing that there has been some conflict, because I'm pretty sure they've probably seen us fuss and fight, you know, but then they see the other side and they're like, okay, so even if we have conflict, we can still be civil. We can still act a certain kind of way. So it really helps them to understand, okay, how do I need to be in my own relationships? How do I need to handle conflict? So I would definitely say those things are definitely benefits to healthy co-parenting.
Yes, those are some great tips and some great ways to help with co-parenting. And I actually try to implement a lot of what you said, and then you introduce some new things that we could try too for co-parenting. That was awesome. So yeah, let's tap into another question I have for you.
Okay. All right. All right.
So we talked about the benefits of a positive, healthy co-parenting. Um, what about when you're struggling as a parent um, to be better? So, what tips would you give a struggling parent to better their relationship with the other parent for a healthy co-parenting regimen?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I mean, we don't like to admit that we're struggling, but especially in the beginning, we all are. And I don't know, I think it's a struggle regardless, no matter what stage you're in. Sometimes you can have a really good relationship, and then something happens because the child is constantly developing. So you're constantly having to evolve and grow based upon the child's needs. So one thing I would say, whether or not I'll touch on two things, because there's definitely so many other things that I can talk about. But whether or not you have the father there or not, or the mother there or not, because I'm not sure who's listening, whether it's mothers or fathers, with both of our platforms, I would say take care of yourself. Take care of your emotional health, your emotional development, because the better you are, the better self care routine you have, the better you can tackle whatever challenges that do come your way. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of your child. Then you might have issues at work. You might have issues with your friends, other things. So it's so important for you to have that regular self-care routine, whether it's reading a book, going hiking, taking a getaway trip. just for yourself. Am I saying take the kids with you? Self
Good.
care is self. The kids, it ain't got nothing to do with the kids. It's just what you want to do. And then I'll say personal development. This is something that has been huge in with my development, with my personal healthy growth. Because when I'm concentrating on, okay, what is it that I can do to develop more emotional resilience? What podcasts I can listen to, things that are self help, things in certain areas that I'm interested in, whether it's DIY, DIY,
You
DIY.
said it right. Do it yourself.
Because as a someone who used to have someone here to do certain things, I've had to learn
Mm,
those things myself. So that's
mm,
part of personal growth and personal development. Because I
yeah.
would put that in the category of self-care. Because I don't care to do anything like that. But it's something I know I have to do. And in
Yes.
turn, that helps me to grow. And it's all about what are you focusing on as well. And I think
Okay.
when we're able to focus on ourselves and our needs and our kids, it makes all the difference in the world. And it really helps us to handle the parent a lot better.
Wow, those are some amazing tips, Tiffany. I'm so grateful for you for just voicing those because that's well needed. Making yourself a priority is key. We actually had a few lives back in our LYED community where we talked about self care. So it's kind of like we were meant to have this moment. Put it that way.
Oh yeah. I believe that. I believe this is a divine appointment because you were talking some things that I was talking already, and I didn't want to say, well, I mentioned that, too. But you know what, and that's how God does it though. You
That is
know,
how he does it.
yes.
Yeah. So, and that leaves me with I have one last question,
Okay.
um, because I know we didn't want to be on here too long, but I do want to tap in this last question for both of
Okay.
our audiences. I think it's a very key question to kind of close on, and then we can kind of go into how others can follow us and where we are and how they can reach us. So my last question is, how can healthy co-parenting help the mother-daughter relationship, from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, and it's funny because I was thinking this morning, and actually I know I mentioned it to you, how just the stats of daughters, or I should say teenage girls, who struggle or have teen pregnancy. The percentage is much higher when the father isn't involved, or when the father is absent from the home. And I was trying to look up the exact statistic, but all I can find is that how much it increases. That's the only thing I can find. But I'm definitely gonna find out what those percentages are. But that kind of helped me to understand, okay, if we allow the father to do what he needs to do, especially if he wants to be involved, in our daughter's lives, then she will be more confident. Because I'm thinking about, okay, how was it when I was a teenager? What is it that I needed from my dad? Because I think sometimes we dismiss what the father can do in a daughter's role. We understand, how hey, sons need their dads, but just being able to have um, that father figure there to show us, okay, how we need to be treated. What is it that we need to look for in men? you know, and I'm pretty sure that impacts our self esteem, as we are developing as teenagers. And I believe when we have that healthy dynamic, when we're dealing with our daughter, we can really partner together as a team. When we're having issues with our daughters at home, and we're like, okay, I got to call, I'm thinking to myself, I got to call your daddy because I'm struggling in this area. And he might be able to say something to her that I might have said, but it just comes across differently when they're hearing it from him. So I just think just the support of that father being involved, and you as a mother encouraging that, it really helps daughters because it provides that balance that they need.
Wow, wow, that is awesome. I love it. I love it. The balance that you can get with just co-parents and help the mother-daughter dynamic. That
Yeah,
is a phenomenal take on that, and that is so true. With providing stability and security, a lot of parents can take a lot from that. So I hope has been a blessing. It's been a blessing for me just having you on, Tiffany.
yes,
I'm
me too. I've
so
loved this. I've
grateful
enjoyed
for
it.
you.
We're gonna do this again. We're gonna have a part two.
I know, right? I feel like there's so much more that can be said. It's like, wow. So
Yes,
tell us more about how we can get in contact with you. I know you mentioned your Child First program, and I know my viewers will love to hear more and more about it. So how can, people get in contact with you?
definitely. I'm on Instagram at I am Tiffany D Newton, and I'm also on Facebook as Tiffany D Newton. And I also created a tribe called Teach Me Tribe on YouTube. It's a Facebook group for men and women to come together in a non-judgmental environment, to just talk about everything, anything and everything. And then on YouTube as well at Teach Me Tribe. So those are the ways you can follow me and go from there. And please tell people from my audience how they can reach you, because we got a lot of mother daughter relationships out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Toni C. Hughes. You can find me there on those platforms. Not on YouTube yet, quite yet, but I'm planning on getting on there. And yeah, and as far as our women empowerment group, it's called LYED Impacting Lives, and it's on Facebook. You can reach me at those platforms. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate everybody for joining, because we've had some people on Instagram that have come through, and Facebook. And it's just been, I really have enjoyed this conversation. And it looks like based
Yeah,
upon,
most.
the comments they have too.
All right, awesome. I love it, Tiffany. Well, this has been day 21 of our 30 days worth of lives. For those that have not sent out your emails in the LYED community, make sure you get those to me so that at the end of our lives, that you can get your free gift. And we look forward to chatting with you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much, Tiffany, again. Take care, guys.
Thank you.